Hi, everyone. Thanks for waiting. Welcome to the Stay at Home Performer. I'm Adam Lenson, and this is Noam Galperin. Say hello, Noam.
Hello. Hi, Adam. How's it going?
All right. I should say up top that Noam's internet isn't super stable. So if he gets blurry, there's nothing we can do about that. Those are the vagaries of this current moment, aren't they?
Yeah, but you can blame Brent Council and not me.
Yeah, and we will. It's also worth saying up top that it is Noam's birthday. So what a fun way for him to spend his birthday
Thank you.
Is doing this. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Adam Lenson. I'm a director that's based in London. And Noam Galperin is a musical director, arranger, composer, music guy. Also based in London for now, but keeps threatening to leave, right?
One day, potentially.
Yeah. And Noam writes these, has for a while been making these arrangements, which involve different musicians recording their parts from their own homes. Right? You've been...
Well, yeah,
doing that for?
So 5 years ago, I started this project called the Big Noise Project, which was essentially my way to get back into creating, having some creative output, essentially, after spending quite a few years just playing and emptying in musical theatre. And as I am in the musical theatre industry, I had an idea to take well-known musical theatre songs and try and play around with them and find different scenarios in which they kind of connect to mainstream music of nowadays and kind of find a broader audience. And I just love playing around with stuff and finding different versions. So I started doing these arrangements, initially mainly with singers who would just come to my place and would do fun jammy videos. And then at some point I just thought, this is really nice. This is really fun. I should get some musicians involved. But then the technical element of organizing tons of rehearsals in rehearsal studios and going into recording studios to record everything and the expenses and everything, it just seemed a bit challenging. So I started kind of asking around who's available to do some home recordings, who's just got the equipment and stuff and can jam online. And apparently quite a few people do. And I've been really fortunate and just really joyous in the fact that a lot of musicians are kind of teamed up and are enjoying working on these arrangements. It's given me a platform to expand my knowledge of orchestrating, because when you're not doing stuff online, there's always the limit of who's available and what musicians I can actually get and how many of them I can put in one room. Whereas if you're doing stuff online, you can literally, it's endless. You can do whatever you want. So dream big.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing.
It's so yeah, Noam's been using remote musicians for ages to make these incredible, impossible arrangements and orchestrations of things, and releasing them as videos.
Not impossible anymore.
Sorry?
Not impossible anymore.
Not impossible anymore, exactly. And in this era, I've been doing live stream concerts, and we suddenly thought, wouldn't it be cool to get together and combine forces, mix Noam's arrangements with live streaming. And at the same time, we thought along the way we could also talk about some of the stuff that's come up in this era, internet live being the enemy of liveness, but a whole load of other things that have come up. Anyway, that's probably enough waffle for now. Let's start with our first act. Woo indeed. Our first act is, we're so lucky to have her join us. We're so lucky for all of these incredible performers. She was pre-lockdown, currently in Hamilton. She was Angelica in Hamilton. Her name is Allyson Ava Brown. And she is going to be singing. Tell us the arrangement and tell us about it. No.
So, Allyson and I were involved in a production which we shall not elaborate on, but was of Dusty Springfield songs. It was a musical about Dusty Springfield, which is essentially the project that kind of got my own project going. We met there, and it didn't end up being the show we thought it would be. But what it did do is made me think how I can create some other stuff that would make both of us happy using Dusty songs to kind of relieve the memory in a way. So I did an arrangement of I Only Want to Be With You, which is one of her biggest hits, and recorded it with Allyson, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. And yeah, this is the version.
Okay. Going live to Allyson Ava Brown.
I don't know what it is that makes me love you so. I only know I never wanna let you go. 'Cause you started something, oh can't you see? Ever since we met, you've had a hold on me. It happens to be true. I only wanna be with you. It doesn't matter where you go or what you do. I wanna spend each moment of the day with you. Look what has happened with just one kiss. I never knew that I could be in love like this.
Hey, Allyson.
Hello.
How you doing? We made it through.
We made it despite the technical difficulties.
We got some pixelation, but the sound was lovely. How are you feeling?
Good. I'm feeling good.
So yeah, just to tell audience, Allyson has a laptop and is using cabled headphones, just earphones with
regular.
Yeah, and that sound was pretty great.
Nice.
So
it was Bartek's work.
No, well, yeah, it's so I just wanted to quickly say, like, how are you finding this time, and how have you felt about joining this concert?
I mean, it's nice to be here. As you can see, I got dressed for the occasion. I'm in a robe before. That is how. I'm not one of those people that spend lockdown getting dressed every day. If I'm at home, I will shower, I will put my makeup on, but I will be in my robe. Mm-hmm. It's a mix, isn't it? I go between feeling great, like a kid on school holiday, really enjoying it, to being just losing my mind. Yeah.
I mean, and in terms of like the challenge of doing this, you're a self-confessed technical grandma, was the way you put it.
I'm technical. It's not like I was born centuries before. Like, I'm not cut out for this technical world.
So is it weird, the fact that like so many things now are just through computers, that it's like there's something so simple about being in a room with other people that we're lacking at the moment?
Yeah, but I mean, this is all we've got right now. So I was like, learn now or learn never.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad you took the plunge, because this isn't super simple, but it was, damn, that was amazing. And Noam's arrangement.
Listen, everyone knows I love Noam. He is like my musical brother. Like I just love every time he very quietly sneaks a video out online, and I'm just like, how can you quietly be so brilliant? And other people are shouting about a lot less, and he just quietly slips it out there, and it's amazing every time. And I can't wait to hear the others that are coming on tonight.
Neither can we. Well, Allyson, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for putting up with me.
In your comfies. No. We got there, and thanks for singing that amazing arrangement. All right, back to television studio, back to Noam.
Hello.
Thanks, Allyson. We got our first question of the night.
Yes.
And since this is live, I can answer it. What kind of EQing do you use on the voices to get that great sound from a headphone mic? So feel free to tweet at Adam Lenson at ALP Musicals. I'll get it and we'll be able to answer your questions. So the way that was done was we used just GarageBand, which is free on Macs, and we put some compression, some EQing, and some denoising was Bartek's end, and some reverb. So even though the microphone is not super advanced, we can do a lot to kind of play to its strengths, as it were. The sort of, what I would say is, using a headphone mic, even just one of those cabled iPhone or headphone mics, is significantly better than trying to use your internal built-in laptop mic. And also having headphones so that you can listen to the track and we can get clear audio that's just your voice, because then when we EQ it, we're just EQing the voice. Well, Noam, your internet seems to be happier. Maybe Alyson's performance made your internet happier.
Oh, it made everyone happier.
So the first thing we said that we were going to talk about was we've already started talking about it thanks to Hilmi, which is if the program is on my Twitter. The first thing we said we're going to talk about is maximizing the equipment you have lying around. If you've got headphones, that's something you've got lying around. If you've got headphones with an inline mic, one that you can make phone calls on, that, as I said, that's significantly better for recording. You may not get studio level recording, but you get really decent demos in the way that you just heard Alyson's voice. The other thing is, if you can install a piece of software on your computer, GarageBand, Ableton, Logic, Cubase, all of them have free trials at the moment. There's like 90 days free trial on Ableton. There's 90 days free trial on Logic. So it's a really good time. Obviously, that's for a reason, because they know people have time to play with them and get addicted. But so yeah, if you can download a piece of software for free, use your cabled microphone, and start learning about how to route your sound, then you can make everything better. And there are so many YouTube tutorials about Logic. The other thing is get an Ethernet cable. We've had problems tonight with Wi-Fi, and an Ethernet cable costs like £7. Obviously, that is a purchase, but yeah. I mean, how are you? I mean, you're well set up for this moment. I said to Noam just before this, I mean, have you got a mic? And he said, I've got 10 mics. So what you have laying around is better than most, but.
Yeah, I've sort of been buying equipment over the past 15 years really. Just anytime you face a new challenge within your kind of home recording situation, it's just an excuse to buy something else. And I think nowadays there's quite a lot of stuff like microphones and audio interfaces that are quite cheap and achievable for a lot of people, which actually make a really you create a really decent result. I've seen one. There's a Rode mic, the NT1, that I've seen in quite a lot of videos on social media in the past couple of weeks, which a lot of singers seem to be using. And it's somewhere here, somewhere around this room as well. So, and I think that's on a nice budget, but you can find quite a lot of really decent mics for like £100 or £150, which may at this point in time sound like a lot of money, but generally it's very cheap for mics. And I think it's a really good investment because they just last for years and years, and you can do so much with, like you said, if you've got any software and a mic and a decent computer, essentially.
What we've got in today's concert is we've got one cabled headphone mic singer, we've got someone with AirPods, and we've got two people with microphones. So we wanted to show a kind of range of different setups.
Sure.
And yeah. Just quickly, Noam, how many players were on I Only Want to Be With You?
That one specifically is not finished. Well, actually, all the tracks we'll hear tonight, most of them are not finished. I have this tendency to not really finish things because they always want it to be bigger and bigger and bigger. But generally, we've got drums, bass, and piano on that one. I'm currently writing a strings arrangement for that one, so that's going to have a string quartet, hopefully sometime in the next week, with my lovely loyal string players who've been recording endlessly for me in the past couple of weeks.
Amazing. Well, we're going to get on
we'll talk about that later. Yeah,
talking about that later. So yeah, our next song is going to be a video.
Yes.
Why don't you set that up for us now?
The next video is something I've done. I think it was 2 years ago. It's a Beatles song, which I suspect many of you will know. Very early on in my career, I swore to never cover a Beatles song because it's sacred. It's the biggest band in my life. It's the most influential musical artist I know, and it's perfect. So why would you touch it? However, I did, and so this is my arrangement of A Hard Day's Night, performed by Lem Knight, the one and only.
It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. Yes, it's been a hard day's night. Oh, I should be sleeping like a log. get your money to buy a thing. And it's worth it just to hear you say, I'm giving you everything. I'm gonna give you everything. Everything. Why on earth should I mourn? 'Cause when I get you alone, I feel alright. When I'm home, everything seems to be right. When I'm home, feeling you holding me tight. You're holding me tight. Tight. Yeah. I've been working like a dog. Yes, it's been a hard day tonight. Oh, I should be sleeping like a dog. Oh, when I get home to you, I find the things that you do make me feel alright. Why on earth should I mourn? 'Cause when I get you alone, I feel okay. When I'm home, everything seems to be right. When I'm home, feeling you holding me tight. You're holding me tight. Tight. Yeah. Days, night. I've been working like a dog. Yes, it's been a hard day's night. I should really be sleeping like a log. But when I get home to you, I find the things that you do make me feel alright. You know I feel alright. It's been a hard day's night. You make me feel alright.
Welcome back.
Hello.
So, just to tell you, obviously this is streaming on my YouTube channel, ALP Musicals, which if you're having a nice time, we're running events currently every week, so feel free to subscribe or like this video. That all helps with the algorithm and such. But Noam also has an Instagram channel called, tell us what the name of it is.
It's just a Big Noise project.
Big Noise Project, and I'll post the link in the chat.
And there's also a YouTube channel, which is Big Noise Official.
Amazing.
Which you can post the link.
Great,
Actually,
I'll put
now
both of
that
those.
you've mentioned your project, do you want to talk about that for a bit? What is Alp Musicals?
You're not meant to be
As long as we're
interviewing me. Yeah, just quickly to finish my thought. Yeah, there are tons of more videos that Noam's done, and he's also going to be posting lots more of his lockdown videos. So if you like these arrangements, get on there. What is ALP Musicals? ALP Musicals. It's a project to support the work of new writing, primarily. So it's a new musical theatre company which supports artist-driven musicals, and I'm particularly interested in musicals that play against traditional notions of what musicals sound like, look like, or are about. Would be the sentence that people might have heard me use before. And so, yeah, I'm particularly interested in musicals that sound a bit different. And I guess that's why, even though a lot of your work, Noam, is in reviving songs that we do know what they sound like, you make them sound completely different and you reinterpret them. And I think that's a huge something I have a huge affinity for, which is when people go, oh, musicals sound like that, I always want to say, do they have
to? Yeah, exactly, 100%. And I love the way that you fuse, you bring musicals back to the kind of the time when they were standards, like when Frank Sinatra was singing them, right? Which used to be the case. Well, exactly. They used to be, mainstream music used to be musical theatre, essentially. Like all the big artists, Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and all those people would just sing musical theatre songs. And I think there used to be a tradition of every musical, you would have at least one song that would be a hit. So the composer would think about what would suit radio or whatever, records. So I think, not that I'm saying every composer should, be thinking of what is most radio friendly, but I do think by playing around with the traditional musical theatre sound and kind of making that a bit broader and meshing styles together, you can just attract new people and bring lovely songs to a new audience.
I totally agree, and it's going to broaden the audience, because I think although musicals do have an audience, and a commercial audience, it often seems quite a narrow audience in that people, when they don't like musicals, they're pretty vocal about it. And
well, we used to have an audience. We'll see when that's back again.
I mean, this is our new audience, so thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thanks everyone.
Those of you watching live and those of you watching on the time delay, we appreciate you all. So this was the section where we were going to talk about what equipment to buy, in terms of audio interfaces, sound cards, microphones, USB microphones. Any sort of general thoughts on all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the broadest thoughts would be that essentially if you've got a decent mic and a decent audio interface, which again these days are quite cheap, you can just do everything. So I think whilst you can get cheaper USB mics and cheaper sound cards and loads of stuff like that, I think it's worth putting in an initial small investment for stuff that's going to get you really great quality for low prices. So obviously there's loads of stuff in the market now, both in interfaces and mics. Adam, I've sent you a few links which you can post on the YouTube maybe, of just some stuff from my research seemed to be quite popular and decent sounding. I mean, the thing is with microphones, it's very much kind of like a musical instrument or singers. It's a matter of taste. So you have to kind of go about watching YouTube videos, having a listen, and finding out what it is that you like. But also, I think I've put down links for a few very safe options that seem to work really well.
So I've been trying to post them into YouTube, but YouTube has a comment limit of 200 characters. This is 800. So I'm just going to post them in one at a time. Right. These are the audio interfaces.
Well, we can. We can kind of post that later on and edit the links, maybe.
I think this is fun. People could be watching them. There's nothing like live. These are 3 audio interface suggestions, and there are 3 mic suggestions from Noam's.
Also, I will
travels.
Keep in mind, I've been recording for the past nearly 20 years now, but at the same time, I'm not a sound expert. I don't know much more than your average person who started recording in the home studio. So it's very much I think something that anyone can pick up. I know a lot of people like the lovely Allyson that are scared of technology and computers and audio interfaces and recording software and stuff like that. These days they just make it so easy for you. It's so intuitive, and it's a lot of fun. It's just like picking up a new game or a new hobby, and you just kind of get to know it, and you're not expected to produce Abbey Road quality recordings on your first go. But I think very quickly people can just adapt and find out what the easiest way is to achieve really nice sound.
A sound designer once said to me that sound design is an accretion of tiny wins. Was basically said
That's beautiful.
Good sound doesn't happen like an on or an off switch. It's like a bunch of tiny ticks and yeses. So if you're using software and you're doing audio processing, that will help. I
think
if you're using a microphone and have headphones, that will help. If you're using, all of this stuff will help. And from my research over the past few weeks, I've realized that audio interfaces are better than just USB mics. There's more latency on a USB mic. Tends to be the case, which tends to make them harder because the mic is doing its own processing, whereas an audio interface has special drivers to process all of the sound through it. I'm not a sound expert, but so Neil asked,
I think that should have been the title of a show.
Sorry?
I think that should have been the title of this show. I'm
not an expert.
Yeah.
What does an interface do? I mean, I can't tell you the physics of it, Neil, but it's a little box that you plug into your computer, and then you can connect XLR cables, your microphones or phono jacks, or basically sound cable straight in. So it's a sound interface which takes sound cables and then is powered and turns that into computer signals, as opposed to
and it produces phantom power, which is needed to record from condenser microphones.
You won't have a bad time with a USB microphone, but it's obviously it's just for those of you who've already bought one, but it can only plug in itself. You can't plug in. I've been having all sorts of fun with my audio interface, like plugging in my loop pedal and plugging in different types of mics and all sorts of things. But yeah, it's a flexibility question. Obviously, it's a weird time to ask people to spend money. And what I'd say is you sort of don't have to in the short term. You could look at the software you can download, and you could look at the things you've already got around your house. But if it's something that you get into and you feel I've got a little bit of money to make an investment in the future, so that I can record demos or tracks my end, I can record drop-ins my end, then I think that can be really helpful. I will often know performers who have audio interfaces, setups, and I can go, can you just record a vocal line for this composer? So that we get a different voice on it. And that's much easier to ask someone to do who's already got that set up for recording, and also then for streaming is the new thing. But, so you can see as Noam continues to pixelate, the internet is always going to be a rate limiting step too. So I don't know, try get fiber optic. Try and get an Ethernet cable.
It's not really a choice, mate.
No, it's not a choice in his area, but the sound is crystal clear, and that's we're not with you for your beautiful face now.
Hey, how dare you? Could I also suggest that, because I've spoken to quite a few singers since we went into lockdown, trying to find out who I can do some remote recordings with. It's not a lot of people, I will say, it's completely understandable, especially for theatre performers, I think, which I think singer-songwriters will kind of gravitate towards the home studio vibe a bit more than performers. I will suggest, though, that aside from actually being able to produce your own content, record stuff, do voiceovers, do record stuff for a cast recording or whatever, it's just a really useful tool for progressing as a performer, as a musician, and constantly hearing yourself back and getting that sort of feedback. And that's the main reason I started doing it 20 years ago. Not so much to produce my own albums or stuff, but just to kind of hear myself playing, hear myself singing, and that sort of thing. It's just the best tool you can get, I think, to develop your craft for anyone.
No, that's very true. I think it's funny. Singers spend a lot of time hoping that putting their trust in the recipient of what they do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice to be able to take this moment to pull back some power, to own your performances, to own your voice. I don't know.
100%.
All right, so we're on to our next live performance.
Yeah.
And what I will say about setting up this concert is setting up a live concert is difficult. And everyone has a different sound setup and everyone has to be their own sound engineer. But right now we're really, despite glitchy internet, despite kind of imperfection of sound, we're really striving to attempt live concerts. All of these songs, Noam will be putting on his YouTube channel in the coming days. We can make recordings of these songs that sound crystal clear and perfect that you can have over your headphones. But so that we can all gather together, the idea of like trying to interrogate what performance is and what liveness is at this moment. So I think it's worth the effort, more even just as an experiment, but just a huge thank you to all of our performers tonight and for bearing with the difficulty of it at the moment.
I 100% agree. And also, I mean, thank you, man. And Bartek, like the work you guys have done in the past couple of days to kind of get everyone set up is so incredibly intricate. I don't actually understand everything that's happened today, if I'm being honest.
No, we don't.
Yeah, neither did. I think it is a great experiment. I think it's a very useful experiment. And I think whilst I'm such a massive fan of home recording and recordings in general, there's no replacement to live performance. And I think we don't know when the next time is that's going to be allowed. And I think we should all kind of aim to check all options available. And I think there are options available. So I think it's a great thing that you're doing this work and kind of finding out every single thing that can be done. So well done, man.
Thank you. All right. Well, now going live to David Albury, who is going to sing us another of Noam's incredible arrangements, this time, Where Is Love from Oliver.
Yes. Go, David.
Does it fall from skies above? Is it underneath the willow tree that I've been dreaming of? Where is she? I close my eyes to see. Will I ever know the sweet hello that's meant for only me? Who can say where she may hide? Must I travel far and wide till I get beside the someone who I can mean something to? Can say where she may hide. must I travel far and wide till I am beside someone who I can mean something to. Where is the love? Where is love? Looking for love. Where is love?
Hey, David.
Hi, Adam. How's it going?
That was amazing.
Thanks, man.
Oh, we were on the edge of our seats, weren't we? Do you want to tell everyone what happened?
Oh, so yesterday Adam and I had a sound check, tested the programs, used the sound card, I ran it all through Logic, and it was all sounding perfect. It was actually quite an easy check, quite an easy setup. And then, for reasons I won't go into, I had to update my Mac OS, and I updated it from, I think it was Capitan, which was quite an old one, to the current one, which is Catalina. And when we tried to run the same setup at about 6 o'clock, expecting it to be absolutely breezy, it was anything but. Every audio track that we pulled into Logic, into GarageBand, into any of the programs that you run through Apple, it sped everything up about 8 times. It was just an absolute mare. It was a bit of a nightmare. We were pulling our hair out, but it's a testament to how incredible our technical guys and Adam, Bartek, everyone behind the scenes, just how well you guys know your stuff, because I don't know what it sounded like, because I can hear myself.
No, it sounded amazing.
Pulled it out the bag.
It sounded amazing.
Yeah, I can't quite believe you managed to do that. I thought I was going to have to tell everyone I wasn't doing it anymore. So thank you for.
No. You were there. You were there, and you were live. And
I was live, man. It was live.
It's special to know that, like, somewhere in these isolated times across the world, no, country, city, you're there doing your thing. So what we ended up doing. This is a boring part of the chat, but drivers. It's to do with drivers. When you update your operating system, it changes the way that certain software works, and Logic. There is a known problem with Logic and the new operating system. So we ended up using QLab, which those of you know in theatre is just you can cue music through there, and we fixed it. Phew! Yeah. It was scary, but actually gives you the adrenaline of what it must be like, what it's like at a live performance, which I don't know, I'm certainly missing that adrenaline.
It's brought a bit of that back to this evening. I guess the live setup, the live stream is always a bit of a weird one for us performers. I've been speaking to a few other people who've done this sort of thing, and we've all said it's wonderfully exhilarating to be back performing again. It certainly has an essence of performing, but I think, like you say, the more we can evolve this particular format, this sort of live streaming, live home performance setup, getting good audio, getting good visual consistently, I think it's another way. It opens up a whole new landscape for us to do this sort of thing. I think it's actually going to be a big thing. I don't think after everyone's released back into the world, it will be something that suddenly gets shut down. I mean, people were still doing sort of Facebook live streaming and other types of live streaming. I think this will cause people to take a much more focused approach to this sort of music live concert format. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and
you'll be at the forefront, Adam. You'll be at the forefront.
I don't know. It feels like
know your stuff.
Feels like
bottle this.
Nice to do experiments. I mean, you already have a sound setup, so we can already see in the frame. You have a lovely mic and headphones and Logic, and you.
I use this as well. This Focusrite.
He's got the Focusrite. Nice.
So sorry. I don't know if we're allowed to do branding on this. But
no, of course we can. There's no. I mean, we're not getting paid for that, but
we're not getting paid for it. So,
what made you get set up with that, and when?
For the best part of 5 years, I've been sort of taking a really serious approach to sort of writing music, recording music, for various different projects, solo projects and otherwise. And so, if you want to do it, there's so much you can do with a really basic setup. I bought, a MacBook Pro
5 years old. I haven't got any of the new touchscreen ones. This Focusrite was, less than £100. I'm using an AKG C214 microphone and a pop shield. It really, the whole setup, I mean, look, for what it is, obviously, £500 is a lot of money, but it's less than £500 for all of that. And really, once you've got that and you've got, a good DAW like a Logic or anything, you can play around with things. And actually, soundscapes is something that's totally at, the creator's discretion, what things sound like and quality, that's a subjective thing, it's a taste. So you can go really deep into those projects without having to buy any extra add-ons, and you can make something truly brilliant on a really quite basic setup.
I agree. And it's just for anyone listening who doesn't know, DAW, which we said we'd tell you what it was, is Digital Audio Workstation. DAW, DAW, you'll hear them differently, but that just means Logic, GarageBand, Audacity, all of those kinds of programs. Thank you so much. Thanks for your nerves of steel, David. It feels like performers need even more steely nerves than live to do live in this era. So thank you.
No, thank you. Thanks to Noam. It's an incredible arrangement, man. Noam,
isn't it just? I love this.
Just an absolute genius. So.
And we'll be making sure that if these arrangements that aren't online will all end up being online on his YouTube channel, and we'll be promoting them. All right. Enjoy the rest of the show, David. Thank you.
You too, man. Take care.
All right. Hey, Noam.
Hello.
Your arrangement's getting a lot of love.
It's just such a joy to watch my favorite people just performing.
What a birthday party, right?
Honestly, it's the best birthday I've had in ages.
We talked about this year, me and me co-producing a concert with a band in a venue of his arrangements, and
yes, my friend,
we'll definitely be doing that the second that we can. But it's nice, and am I right in saying that every one of those instruments on that track were real instruments but recorded separately?
Yep. Yeah, I have a thing, as opposed to most musicians nowadays, I think. I have a thing of using only live instruments and not just, synths and patches and stuff like that. Hence why I started doing the remote recordings thing. And so that track, again, only had a rhythm section, I think, just a bit of acoustic guitar, bass, and drums, and me, of course. And that was one of my kind of musical theatre arrangements, and one that I did when I was working on a show about the life of Lionel Butt. Anyway, I will note that David is using both one of the interfaces and one of the mics I recommended, so well done, David.
And that was an accident, right?
Yes. Nothing is an accident,
so
really, though.
We're about to talk about light and framing and set design, and but I actually can't see you because you're pixely. I can hear you. It's kind of like you're like,
I love being pixelated. I think I might stay like that for the rest of my life.
It's like you're back. It's like a dust cloud, one of those like dust clouds of higher intelligence.
Yeah, there's just that's life, man. Sometimes it's just a cloud of dust.
You're back. Do you want to introduce us to your in-house guest?
Yeah. So, the one really great thing, amongst some others, I will say, that's happened due to the really unfortunate coronavirus and lockdown, is that I've been sequestered with a really, really, really lovely gentleman, a really good friend, actually. We were really best mates in high school 20 years ago. Oops, revealing my age. And then kind of lost touch. And he is currently in the process of moving to London to be a professional videographer, which he is. And he was only meant to be visiting beginning of March, and then just got stuck here. And he's currently has been living with me for the past 2 months. And it's made this whole thing just an absolute ongoing party for me. And we're just having a laugh. And also, we've created a really exciting partnership. So we're writing scripts, we're planning the videos we're going to do for all these arrangements, a lot of beautiful cinematic videos for these arrangements. We tried doing as much as possible before we went into lockdown. We did one with David, we did one with our next guest, Portia, and we're going to do loads and loads and loads of them to create really high quality content. But anyway, I'm rambling on. So this guy is going to talk to us about some really cool lighting and staging in-house, Mr. Omri Dagan.
Hey, Omri.
Well, hello. What a great introduction. Oh my God. Hello, Adam.
Hey.
Everybody.
So yeah, just obviously everyone only has the lighting and the framing stuff that they've got in their houses right now. Is there any advice you have for them?
Well, that's great. What you have in the house is perfectly fine, and you can make great results out of it. I'm a huge fan of natural light, daylight, and big source of daylight. So unfortunately, I gathered a few examples that I came across online, but we can't see it now, but it will be available after the show. I can set it over and stuff. But I came across a lot of great examples of people that shooting themselves at home, basically, very natural, in the living room, in their studio, and there's always like a very nice big source of daylight. It's basically the difference between daylight and like tungsten light. It's the Kelvin, basically, and it's like daylight. It's very bright. It's what we see now in this studio, actually, which is kind of soft, bright light. And tungsten light is basically the one we can see over there. It's kind of yellowish thingy. Most you can encounter these kind of lights in practical lights at home. So what I should suggest is basically to find the biggest source that you have at home. If you can shoot on during the day, so you will have obviously the daylight source that you gather. It's the best option. So try to sit like, you know, when the try to sit when the big source of light is on one side of you, basically. Not too bright. So if you have like curtains and something, put it on so you have like a diffuser. So it will be like softer, not a hard light, and that can be like overexposed. So if you want less exposed and like very soft on the face, so you can see like nice skin tones and stuff. So put like a diffuser, natural diffuser, which is like curtains, and then you can sit in front of the window or the window at your side, and one side of you is a little brighter than the other side, which has like very natural shadows. So this is like the nice lighting which you can have at home. And if you don't have the ability to shoot yourself during the day, so I can suggest buying like a LED light, very simple. You can find it on Amazon. I have a few links that I can share with you guys, with you, Adam, after the show. You can buy like, you know, between 30 or 50 quids. You can find like a very nice LED light, very simple. It's like a, you know, it comes with a stand, it comes with a diffuser, and basically you can put it in your studio, in your working area, and it will like, it will be like a source of a daylight. It won't be like a stronger, it won't be like a, you know, like a studio shot like you. It's similar to what you said about microphones. It won't be like a studio recording, but will be good enough for posting videos from your home. That's regarding lighting. Also, if you can find the practical light like we did over there, this is like a nice lamp that Noam and I bought on Amazon a few weeks ago, and you see the lamp with the Christmas lights on it. It's additional something that I like to add, but you see the practical lamp over there, so it will make like a nice shallow depth of field and separate you from the background when you have another light source, which also different from the major source, you know, brighter tungsten, more yellowish on the background and pointing out over there. So everyone has like practical lights like that at home, like, you know, lamps, standing lamps, stuff like that. You can put it over there in the background as far as you can go. That's regarding the lighting of the frame.
That's great.
You want me to continue?
No, I mean, that's great. I mean, it's the idea of depth is interesting. Yeah. I mean, I'm next to a window on one side, so I'm like, yes, winning. I've got this light, which is front lighting me, which is just a desk lamp, but that is tungsten-y and yellow, so I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
You should be sorry.
We're here to, you know, to make it clear.
Yeah, the idea of buying an LED light, I hadn't actually come to that thought, but you're right, they're not expensive. I mean, our technical supervisor Bartek is mic'd in. We won't be able to see him, but anything else you would want to add about lighting?
Hello?
Hey.
Okay, I think you can hear me. I just need to switch off monitoring so I can hear myself delayed. I have not been sound checked, so this is all a little bit sudden. Let me do this. Yeah, so I actually wanted to add something briefly to the idea of softening the light, because there's one more thing that a lot of people can do at homes if they have practical lights. If you have a practical light that's pretty harsh, and you have a white wall, or you can put white tablecloth somewhere, you can actually do what's called bouncing. So you can reflect that light off a white surface, and will reflect back over a greater area, so it will be a bit softer, a little bit nicer. So that's also something to play around with.
It's a very good idea.
Absolutely. Anything to add for now, Anne-Marie?
Yeah. Also, if you're filming in daylight, I like clouds. You know, it's not pretty rare
clouds as well.
in London to find. So if it's a cloudy day, it's great because the clouds make like a natural diffusion of the natural light and the sun. So basically, if you have like, if you're shooting in the living room, for example, and you open up everything and you put the curtains on, and there's like clouds outside, then all your living room will be flooded with natural, soft, bright light, which is very, very nice. Noam's living room is perfect for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we essentially wake up every day, and at some point one of us will come to the living room and go,
and want to hug it.
This is just so great for filming.
Yeah, it's perfect, basically.
Honestly,
I like the idea that if it's sunny, you can go out, but if it's cloudy, it's filming time.
No one wants a sunny day.
No one wants a sunny day.
Just be careful about days when it's actually changing constantly, because especially if you're filming anything that will be edited. Yeah. If it's anything that you're going to edit, be careful not to end up having one shot that's in full sunlight, the other shot that's fully cloudy, because that will make your life difficult. Yeah,
you need to pay attention if it changes.
Yeah. So most of all, try to look for consistent weather.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Anne-Marie.
Also, try to not to overexpose. Sometimes I see people, musicians, singers, they film themselves when they're like super exposed, and you lose a lot of detail, you know, and don't underexpose also. I came across people that film themselves in their studio and they're super dark, and you know, their background is brighter than the object, than you, and this is unfortunate.
I mean, we could probably talk for an hour about exposure, if not longer.
But let's not.
Yeah.
But alas.
Just one last tiny thing that I've learned from Anne-Marie is that
speak nearer to the mic.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's flip.
Another tiny thing is that you can make a shot or video just that much nicer if you just put a few really nice objects near you. If you pick the right space in your home. I think everyone should have one nice corner of their home. I think that's a thing, and if not, I'm so sorry. But I think if you just, you pick a plant or something, or a nice lamp or something, just to make the shot seem nicer. Because I've seen a lot of videos on Facebook and social media recently, which just kind of look quite gloomy and, sad.
Yeah, we can talk about locations and framing, Adam, if you want to continue.
Just for a second before we move on to locations, there was a question about lighting from Caden. How about Philips Hue lights on a white daylight setting? I would say that's a good place to start, especially since you can actually, with some of them, change from white to tungsten, which means that you have some flexibility, and you can use those techniques we talked about to soften that light. Anything to add?
Awesome. No, thank you. And I've been talking to friends who have gone in for castings for adverts while in isolation, and the casting directors are making them do full tours of their flats or houses with their cameras to see where those nice corners are. Then Noam said, you know, I've just sat in the default place that I sit, which is my desk chair. Luckily, I have a bookshelf, but actually haven't been on a tour of my flat to try and find the best locations.
You should. It's a fascinating journey.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be a fascinating journey. It's not a big flat.
We've tried filming in most rooms in this house now just to kind of get where the nicest vibe is. It's fun.
Yeah. Also for singers, there's a nice ring light, you know, the ring LED light.
Oh yeah,
I've seen
for like
those.
YouTubers, vloggers, something to see it on Instagram. So for singers, I think it's recommended. You can buy, it's very cheap. It comes with a stand. It's very nice, and you can put your smartphone inside the ring. There's like a nice stand inside, and it fixed inside the ring, and you can pictures. You can make a nice video with the ring light.
Amazing. And Omri, if you are able to get on the YouTube and post links into the chat right now,
of course,
while we're carrying on.
Technology.
The wonders of technology. All right, let's move on to our next thing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to check on the program.
Yeah, just to set this one up. So this one is an arrangement I've done a decade ago. I started recording it 7 years ago. I started recording it again 4 years ago. I then filmed the footage for the video 2 years ago. And then it wasn't until this lockdown that I was actually like, okay, I need to finish this. And so I showed Omri all the kind of silly footage I did of this, and he made it look really, really magical. And this one features one of my all-time favorite singers in the world and one of my top collaborators in a different country. And we're doing remote collaborations as well. She's called Atalia Levi. She's one of the best singers you'll hear. And this is Madonna's Like a Virgin, I believe. Thanks.
I made it through the wilderness. Somehow I made it through. I didn't know how lost I was until I found you. I was beat, incomplete. I'd been had. I was sad and blue, but you made me feel. Yeah, you made me feel shiny and new, like a virgin, touched for the very first time, like a virgin, when your heart beats next to gonna give you all my love, boy. My fear is fading fast. Been saving it all for you, 'cause only love can last. You're so fine, and your mind make me strong. Yeah, you make me bold, 'cause your love's not out. Yeah, your love's not out, but we're scared and cold. Like a virgin, touched for the very first time. Like a virgin, when your heart beats next to mine. So fine, and you're mine. I'll be yours till the end of time. 'Cause you make me feel, yeah, you make me feel nothing done, like a virgin, like a virgin, touched for the very first time, like a virgin, when your heart beats next to mine, feels so good inside. Oh, like a virgin, when your heart beats next to
Hello.
All right.
That was
Hello.
cool. That was a proper music video vibes.
And okay, that video is a great example of what you can do in your home with no budget at all, like zero budget. Anything.
Really? That was.
I mean, well, I did use my video camera, which I just had, and we went to Atelia's house. I just stupidly put it against the wall and completely ignored everything Omri just said, and just filmed her doing
before
silly
my
stuff.
time.
Yeah, it's before the Omri age. I just filmed her doing silly stuff, and then he took it and just made it look really cool, really cool.
Omri, you said you had a little more to tell us about framing and composition. So just want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, and location. I think
Yeah.
the best idea is to find the proper location, first of all. So if you're like a musician, if you're a singer, I think it's better to find a place where you work. Either it's like a studio, which has like musical instruments or books or scores, sheets or something. Or if it's like a living room with a piano or grand piano, it's nice if you have.
Amen.
So to find like a proper location, and also which doesn't have a lot of too many objects, too many details. So it will be like clean, because when people watch you, they want to see like, they want to focus on you, they want to listen to you, they don't want to notice like stuff that has nothing to do with the video or with the song or with you as an artist. So
Like a dead body or something.
so try to clean up the frame. That's what I suggest, and to find a nice location which suits your doing, like something that got to do with your profession, with your skills, and try to clean it a little bit, make these adjustments so the frame will be nice, watchable. We mentioned it before, try to find depth. So you have like depth of field, and also it's very interesting when you have like a frame. This is not like the great example because it's very like straight, but I like framing which is a little bit like off, and there's like a leading line of like a hallway, a corridor, like a living room, something that goes over there, and it's very cinematic. It's very nice. I think people like to watch this kind of stuff when it's not like flat. I don't like people that film themselves in the studio when there's like closets behind them, shelves
Hashtag David.
closets of like wardrobes or something, and like shelves and stuff that has nothing to do with what you're doing. So try to pay attention to what's going on in the frame, because it's not only you, it's everything around you. So try to avoid this kind of stuff.
Deep, man.
It's not all about you. Sorry, yeah.
I would also say that I'm never a big fan of symmetry. I know right now I'm sitting in the middle of my screen, but asymmetry is often good if in relation to what you're saying, where it's not necessarily it's balanced, but it's not balanced in an identical way on both sides.
Yes, exactly. Also, it's a little bit different, I think, between musicians, which are like instrument players, and singers. If like a singer want to present himself for like an audition or for like a performance that he's going to do online, so I think it's preferably you will want to put yourself in the center and like eye level, you know, not something underneath, not like a high level, but eye level, like in front of your eyes exactly. And this is, I think with singers it should be a little bit more straight. And with musicians, I saw, again, I have a few examples, I can send it over afterwards. I saw many nice angles when, you know, they place the camera in the end of the bass guitar, and you know, they find a very nice, interesting position to put it, and then you can see the instrument player. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but it's not like straight, it's not like eye level, but it's interesting, it's like creative, you know? So I think it's a little bit different between singers and... because you don't want to see a singer when he performs. You don't want to see him from like not a flattering angle. You want a flattering composition. Basically, try to make something beautiful. Try to make like a beautiful frame, beautiful image, beautiful composition, because it makes a difference. Basically, it makes like, you know, it gives us a thought that you thought about it. It was a process. You pay attention to the details, and you're a professional. It's not like you're putting on the camera and you start filming yourself just like that. It's, you know, the color of the you know, the lighting that we talk about, and the composition, and what's underneath, you know, what's behind you. I completely
agree. Yeah. And it's like just like everything else, spend time doing it. Film yourself, watch it back.
Watch like other artists. Try to go through your feed and try to understand what's wrong with the image that you're viewing, what's good about the image. Try to make notes about it. Try to learn from other people's stuff, because people are investing in, you know, it's like we said, you don't have to, it's really affordable. You don't have to buy equipment regarding the cinema. We can move to talking about cameras a little bit, but you can do, you know, everything with a smartphone, and you will get if you get the right settings on the smartphone, and you can do like amazing. Most smartphones film like 4K today, 4K videos. And if you put it not on the selfie mode, because the selfie mode is less quality, if you put it on like the normal mode in front of yourself and put it on 4K and adjust the lighting, you know, and do everything that we talked about with the depth and the framing and the lighting, so you will get a very, very nice and even very professional image.
Yeah, that's true. Always use the back camera, never use the selfie camera. It's harder to frame, but it's worth it. And turn on the manual settings and look through it in the same way that you would look at what you could do on your computer with software. I completely agree. All right.
And before you finish that, on that topic, don't use auto white balance, because it will just keep changing throughout the shot. Set white balance so that your skin looks natural, so you're not orange, you're not blue, and leave it there, because otherwise, if the sun changes or a blue truck goes past you and reflects blue light on you, it will just go all over the place, and you will not have a fun time fixing that during the edit.
No, you're totally right. Even without nothing happening, it can change, because it's not that smart. You're counting on a machine to decide what's the temperature of the light and the skin tones. And I edited a video today of someone who shot on a smartphone, and it changes in the middle, and I went crazy because I thought it was something that I did with the coloring and the keyframes or something, and I said, what's going on there? Where I went wrong? And then I figured out, I watched the raw materials that he sent me, and I saw that the white balance changed in the middle of the video, and of course I can fix it, but it's like additional time, and you know, it's pointless. So it's a very good note what you said.
And it's a very annoying thing to fix. Like I've had to do it before as well, and no one wants to be fixing it ever.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I know that we could talk about this for days, but we've got a concert to take home. So thank you so much, Omri. Thanks, Bartek.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Really helpful. And, you know, if there's demand for more of this, we can do tutorials and videos and all sorts of things with examples that aren't live that maybe help people out.
Also, I will leave my details. You can contact me. Absolutely. You can write me.
I will. Amazing. All right. So, Noam, tell us a bit about multi-track recording and how you've been doing these arrangements before we go into our final two songs.
Okay. So essentially, I'm guessing everyone has their own process of doing this thing, and it depends on what you put, the biggest stress on. For me, what I love to do is essentially start with the drums. So I'll do a piano vocal guide. I'll record a really trashy piano track and record a singer on top of that, or send that to a singer to do a guide on. Then send that to a drummer to do drums, normally with some musical references, some existing songs. The thing is, if you're not in the same room with someone, what you do lose is the ability to change what's happening in the moment and just say, oh, I love it more like that or more like that. So I think sending existing references is very helpful. Then I'll get a drum track back. Well, it'll be a rough drum track, like a rough mix. I'll give some notes with, in my case, lots and lots of notes. So it can be a back and forth of like 3-4 times. For some people, it'll be great on the first take. And then once it's a finished drum track, I'll get all the stems back from a drummer, which can kind of, it depends on the setup for the drummer and how many mics, but it can range from like 5 to 14, which I got yesterday, which was great, really exciting. And then once I've got drums, I'll send that to a bass player. And once I've got drums, bass, and piano and a vocal guide, it's kind of fair game. So I'll send that to all the rest of the people. Normally, I'll send that to the guitar player first, but sometimes I'll send that if there's strings, if there's brass, if there's anything else happening on the track, I'll just send them a drums and bass. But the more detailed track you send to any musician, the easier it is for them to kind of blend into the sound, to get the vibe of it, to match the style. And again, these are the things you really want to have a think about when doing remote recordings, because every musician and every singer has their own interpretation of everything. So if I want to keep it with the vision and vibe and style I had in mind when I did the arrangement, I need to be very specific with musical references, with my vision, and kind of try and describe in as much detail as possible in my emails. I obviously write everything out in Sibelius and make that as specific as humanly possible in terms of dynamics and articulation.
Your arrangements are like complicated rhythmically.
How dare you?
they're not easy arrangements.
No, they're not. They're really not. Which is why I only work with the best musicians.
Just to say as well, of course this now makes sense that you start with the rhythm section, but I probably logically would have just thought, make a click track, make a metronome, send it to everyone all at once, and they all do their thing, and then it all like whooshes in and gets mixed. But of course you're going to get better results if you start drums and bass.
Yeah, I mean, it's a couple of things. First of all, if you want a rhythm section to really groove and to really mesh with one another, you gotta have the drums first, and you need the bass player to match into the drums, and the guitar player to match into that. And even I'll re-record my piano after having the rhythm section, because it'll just be better. And it's a different kind of playing when you're playing by yourself and when you're playing with a band, which any musician will tell you. But also, it's just a thing of people. Yeah, it's just that thing of people playing very differently by themselves, and it all just becomes much tighter. The direction the arrangement needs to take becomes much clearer if you send it with as many instruments as possible. If you're recording a string quartet, for instance, or a brass quartet, start with one of them. Make sure all the articulation and bowing and everything, the phrasing is all right, as completely as it should be. Then send it to the rest of the players. Don't send it to all the 4-string players at once, because everyone's going to do their own thing.
And
so you need to,
We just had a question about click tracks. Are you sending click track to people?
I do sometimes. If it's a song with a really complicated click track, if there's loads of tempo changes and stuff like that, I'll send a click track. For this next song that we're gonna hear, I sent Tim, who did the arrangement, whose song it is, made a click track because there's quite a lot of tempo changes. Whereas if it's quite simple and stays the same throughout, I'll just send a BPM number and go, good luck with that.
But what I would say is, you want to start with a human performance start with a human performance and then make the click track around that rather than turn on a metronome.
Yeah.
Because then there's a humanity to the way it's performed rather than like everyone obeying the same universal metronome.
Wait, sorry. So are you saying you'd want to record someone singing first and then create a
No.
for that?
Playing first. Right, the pianist.
Yeah, but on top of a click track, obviously.
Oh, so quite like, are you saying that because I'm wrong? But are you saying that the click would just be metronomically identical for the whole track sometimes?
If you want to do remote recordings, that's the kind of the most basic thing you need to keep in mind. You can't do remote record. I mean, you can, but it's never going to be as tight as it can be. It creates a lot of difficulties going forward. I get what you're saying. I get the thing of you want to have the sensation of live performance and, you know, if you feel like slowing down, if you feel like picking up the pace, and you can achieve that within a click track.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you wanted to sit really tight with everyone, if you want to make it really simple for everyone when they're uploading the project in their own software, you can have a click track. And also, if you're thinking ahead about doing videos and you want to lip sync and stuff like that, I'm always just thinking very big. So I know if I'm doing it all on a click track, I've got all my options ready. Whereas if I didn't do a click track, that's going to be limiting. At some point, that's going to pop up as a problem.
Yeah. It's like having it's the skeleton.
Having said that, if you're just doing like a guitar and vocals or piano and vocals or something quite acoustic, sometimes that's nice having that without a click track because because it's quite exposed and intimate, you want to have more of the human element, like you said.
Interesting. All right. So I'm going to tell you about what happened when we decided to do this a week ago. A week ago, we decided to do this concert. I know that Noam makes these isolated, multi-track recordings of actual musicians. One of the big losses of this era has been, even though we've been managing to do signal concerts, we haven't been able to use a band because people have to perform them on their own because of latency. They can make backing tracks, but even then, very rarely have they been using live musicians because it's complicated and requires you to know musicians with rigs. So anyway, I said to Noam, wouldn't it be cool if a song that was written for Signal Online, which is a live concert that we've been doing every other week, got orchestrated, performed by real musicians, put back together, and then performed live by a singer tonight. So we did that, and we started 6 days ago on this next song.
If less,
yeah. Maybe it was Wednesday, Thursday, but
no, I think it was Friday evening actually.
Fuck. Okay.
So that's
Tim Gilvin did the arrangements like in one day. Send them over to Noam, who got players to play them over the next 2 or 3 days, and then you put them back together. More or less, that's right.
Yeah, that's
Tim mixed it this morning. And I guess we should play that song. So the song was debuted at Signal 2. It's from a musical that Tim Gilvin is writing with Alex Konevsky called Cable Street, about the Cable Street riots in anticipation of World War II. And he's been premiering songs from it at Signal, normally with a band, but this was the first one performed without a band, so we've rectified that. And you're about to hear it. Anything more to say, Noam?
I will say, I don't always trust composers to deliver the most detailed arrangements because it's just a different skill set. It's not. And all the musicians, including me, were just really impressed by Tim's parts, and it was really clear. And clear parts just make for a really easy recording process. Yeah. So I got all the stems very quickly. Everyone loved the track. Within I would say 2 hours, I had everything.
So every part of the chain kind of needs to work. The arrangements have to be good and clear, and
it's not just good. It's specificity. It's just being very detailed. Yeah. That's all. Yeah.
All right, should we go to Molly, who's going to perform it?
Yes.
Even more amazing, Molly Lynch came in at less than 24 hours notice, fewer than 24 hours notice, to sing this song. She learnt it yesterday in great Signal style, and
Molly.
we routed her sound earlier today. And here is Molly Lynch. Have we got you, Molly?
Yay! I'm doing the signal thumbs up. It's a symbol now. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? Amazing. Okay. I'll just tell my tiny little mini band to start playing. Okay. Oh, hold on. False alarm. I missed it. You get used to suspicion. When they see you on the street, they say don't talk to strangers. Don't trust the people you meet. They've got different hair, different clothes, different eyes, different nose, a different idea of how we should live around here. You get used to division. You read it in the news. The rich blame the poor blame the rich, and everybody blames the Jews. They've got different fruit, different holy days, different customs and different ways. Close the door and stick to your own. But then clouds come and the sky grows dark, and it's all hands on deck to build an ark. And the stranger becomes a sister. Once you make that decision, now when they pass you on the road, they say good morning, shalom, come on in, take off the load. You notice they've got the same boots, same tired feet, same cobble, same dirty street, same tables, same old chairs, same fears, same old cares, same roof to hold off the rain, same love, same pain, same hungry bellies and aching heads. So pour the wine and break the bread. Rain falls and the storm clouds loom. You get rid of the hate in your heart and make some room. And the stranger becomes a sister. You get used to connection, but when the common enemy's defeated, old wounds flare up and old mistakes get repeated. You're different people at the core, on different sides, so close the door. But there was a moment when we stood together.
That was awesome.
Yay! Gorgeous
And
Noam and Tim.
You've got great composition. Nice candle in the background.
Oh, do you know what? Spanner in the works. The sunset during the concert, and I was like, no! And then you're talking about framing, no! But it's okay.
I'm just going to say I'm quite proud of what we managed to do with Molly. We've managed to get her performing on AirPods, despite the natural latency of Bluetooth, and super nerdy. But essentially what we ended up doing was sending a second version of the track to our audience, which was delayed by the same delay as the AirPods. So Molly's hearing one version of the track and the audience were hearing a different version of the track, and then they were syncing up.
My God.
But it worked. And at this moment, just a huge shout out to Christian Chorney. He's an amazing musical theatre writer who wrote Stages, amongst other things, and has been a regular at Signal, and has 2 degrees in sound design and sound engineering. And this whole community is based around stuff that Chris has figured out. So thanks, Chris. How's everything? How's life, Molly?
Oh, good. Yeah, good. I'm learning.
Are you
loads.
finding it weird not being able to perform?
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. This is pretty close to being, I was just texting Tim saying it's like being in the wings, because you're hearing Bartek go, you're on, okay, get ready, Molly. And it's kind of, I got that same, like, I want to die feeling. So that's good, because I felt that again. Except you have to like somehow start your own music and see your own face kind of coming back at you. It's, you know, those things are new. But no, it's so nice. It's so nice to have some sense of community. And yeah, no, that's what's so amazing about this.
What was also funny was that Molly bought a mic and an audio interface, and it arrived today, but she still doesn't have a USB-C to USB adapter to plug it in.
Classic.
So, but you know, what she had was AirPods, and we found a way to make them work. It did require some serious nerdiness, but this seems to be the era of the nerds.
And if you were saying it's serious nerdiness, then it's like everyone else. That means like next level crazy nerdiness. Like,
but now's the time. Now's the time. Software is free for 90 days. Everything's free. Mm-hmm. Like, you downloaded Logic just now, and so now's the time for everyone to get a bit nerdy and see what you can do, because it's you haven't had a microphone until now. That's crazy.
No. It's something recording something weird. I think it's like different singers have different relationships with it, but now's the time to just kind of face the music and get a mic. I think.
And you were on the journey with me in terms of that we had the piano vocal from Tim, and then like 3 days later we had like a real band playing it. How mad is that?
Amazing. And just knowing like that's the first time, you know, a band's played that piece, and and knowing that that's all like real musicians, it's so cool, you know. Like I really felt the difference to it compared to a backing track. You know, it's incredible. And that's something as well that you don't get when you're in lockdown, is that kind of sense of singing with the band. So it's so cool. So thank you.
And obviously I go on a lot about like why liveness is cool. Like, what was that like compared to just doing a video?
I think it's really trippy, because your brain is part of you is like, I'm sitting in my room, and then the other part of you is like, there's people watching you have to perform. So it's a weird phenomenon. I was reading about it, like your body is you know, conflicting with your brain, and so all this weird stuff. So I get nervous as if I'm going on stage, but then also have a weird part of me is like, doesn't accept that I'm performing. So I think it's so trippy. How do you feel? You're the same. Like, you seem very chill.
It's definitely strange. It's definitely strange just like I spend most time looking at the green dot. I'm looking at you now, but I don't want to look at myself talking. That's kind of a weird feedback loop you get stuck in, where you kind of start analyzing yourself, which is why everyone says Zoom conversations are exhausting. I mean, while I'm on to you, I'm gonna do my sound routing trick from earlier with that song. Are you okay to stay on, Molly?
Yes.
So one of the things I've been saying a lot on Facebook lately is about routing sound. You'll hear that everyone's sound tonight is routed, which means that their tracks, their microphone, it actually goes through virtual cables, through their computer, and straight into the internet. It's not blocked. And I'm just going to do my little example of what a lot of people are doing lately and why we should stop doing it. Okay, just going to have to get the track ready.
It's a soft suggestion.
It's just, well, when we first started this, I think the one thing that we have control over is how good things sound. I said that, and now I'm just like trying to find the track on my phone. Here it is.
I think part of us has like we feel a responsibility to bring some sort of quality and kind of keep pushing it, because this is, you know, we don't know how long this is going to go on for. So it's something we might as well keep pushing to improve while we can.
Can you tell me the first couple of lines of the song, Molly? I don't have them with me. We get used to.
We get used to suspicion. Hold on,
next one.
Sorry, you want more than that? Hold on.
Yeah.
Not off book. She's not off book.
I'm not off book either.
When they see you on the street,
okay,
they say, don't
just
talk
remember
to
that.
strangers.
Sorry, Tim, for what's about to happen. Okay, so here we go. I'm now using my internal microphone, and I'm just going to put the backing track on my phone. Here we go. We get used to suspicion when they see you on the street. So this is what you see a lot of, people on their internal mic. Yeah. Bartek is switching off my denoising and compression as well.
Oh no.
So this track is happening on a speaker, and I'm singing da 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 da. Sorry, Tim. Okay, that's what most people are doing most of the time, and I have my program routed so that I can just do this. Hello again, and I'm now coming at you through Logic. Should be. Can you hear my vocals? Great. And now here's the track coming through Logic routed. You get used to suspicion. Oh, you're not hearing my vocal or the track. Embarrassing.
Oh, we've lost him.
No, you're not. There it comes.
Are you kidding me?
You hearing the track, Bartek?
Is Adam there?
I'm still here. Oh,
God.
you getting that? Oh, well. What an embarrassment. Do you know what? I know why it is, Bartek.
I think what he's trying to say. It was
No.
reading his heart.
We're going to do this again.
But when
I'm going to rejoin OBS Ninja.
Oh my God. Am I still on air? Oh God. How's everyone doing?
Now we're both on air.
Oh, good. Okay.
I'm the stand-in Adam. I can absolutely not talk about musical theatre. I am not qualified.
Well, I was just going to say as well, Bartek, is there any way of showing everyone how delayed I am if I turn my because my track is far behind?
Adam would have to do that because he was setting that up through loopback, which I'm not that familiar with. So basically, Adam is on team loopback. I'm on team black hole.
Yes.
Which is another kind of alternative way of looping, of routing things on a Mac. Basically, depending on whether you're on Mac or on Windows, you need to take different approaches.
I think Adam's back.
Let me see.
He's back to claim his throne.
Okay, I'm going to have to refresh him probably.
You are.
Yeah, you're back, Adam.
You can hear me with some fruity reverb now, I imagine.
Yes, a lot of reverb.
All right, we're going to start again.
Oh, God.
Here we go. Back with nothing. You get used to suspicion when they see you on the street. Brilliant. And now when I route my sound. No, you're not. Here it comes. Oh no. Are you hearing the track, Bartek? I'm replaying myself in Logic now. I did. Here we go. You get used to suspicion when they see you on the street. There we go. I expected that to go smoother, but you know.
To be fair to Adam, and Adam, I'm on air now as well, when you do 50 different setups for 50 different people in 3 weeks, it gets very confusing. Because everyone has different hardware, people have different software, and even when things seem similar, there are often some weird things that someone installed 3 years ago working in the background, and it ends up being impossible to find what's wrong, and you have to come up with a different strategy for a lot of different people. And sometimes you just need a moment to figure out, okay, so on this computer, this was like this, and okay. And
what I will say is, root your sound. It's not that hard to do.
Yeah. Get Logic, get either Loopback or Black
whoa,
Hole.
Whoa. Call us.
I mean, once they do
Don't
that,
give
they
away
will
all
call
of the
us.
secrets.
No, the secrets are what you actually do in that.
I suppose.
It's about teasing. It's like a trailer.
Yeah. All right. Back to Noam. Thanks, Molly.
Oh,
Thanks
I'm
for
still
sticking
here.
with us.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
I'm sorry. It was. What I would say is, yeah, when we first set up the concert, I was so behind on setting up everyone else's sound that I just put my microphone through into the stream rather than putting my fucking sound setup, which I'd spent all day doing anyway. Hubris. It's post Watershed. Huh? There's kids listening. We're not on the kids stream option, so people should know not to. Okay, so
Yep, great.
anyway, the major thing I would want to say is when you hear someone on a live stream and they're using their speaker within their room and their microphone within their room, and it's just coming in through a microphone into their system, rue your sound. If I could get it on a t-shirt, I would, but it's the most alarming thing about this era, the amount of people that have the abilities and the kit to be able to make this stuff better and are not doing.
Fight the fight, man.
You know, we're 6 weeks in and still making mistakes and still
Sure.
figuring and fumbling through this era, but
We've got time. We're going to be in lockdown for years.
I hope not, but I also think that digital will persist, and
Yeah,
you know, it's letting people collaborate in new ways, which is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Two final things: get an Ethernet cable, get headphones. Whatever you do, don't try and do any of this without either of those. And while you can stream on an iPad and a phone, now's the time to borrow a laptop if you have access to one anywhere, because there's not as much that you can do in terms of backing tracks and multi-tracks and sound sending, and you can do it on iPads, but it's needlessly complicated because of the system's architecture. They don't really want you to move from between one app and the other. And I've had people ask, "Oh, can I use my iPad? Can I use my phone?" And I always want to say yes, but it's the flexibility is just not there.
But no.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for sticking with us, audience. We hope that you've learned something. And in terms of all of these songs will in the coming weeks be available in beautifully recorded videos and sound clips and etc. And I hope you enjoy them, but we're also really glad that you joined us here for this madness, and what a chance to appreciate Noam Galperin on his birthday.
And you, Mr.
Song and the insanity that led to it now.
Yes, I mean, insanity is the key feature thing in this whole thing. Yeah, so the last track, going on from your introduction of the previous number, so essentially Adam thought it was a really great idea to have something arranged and recorded specifically for this project, which I thought so as well, as long as Tim was doing that. But then everything got a bit reshuffled, and I was thinking which singers we want to have, and everything kind of happened very last minute in the past 3 days. So it ended up that I did a completely new arrangement and a completely new recording for this thing as well. And after telling Tim, please don't overdo it, keep it simple, just a rhythm section, we don't have a lot of time, I obviously orchestrated this next song for a 15-piece orchestra. And 15? Then 15, yes.
In the last 3 days?
In 1 day. So essentially 6 hours in the past 3 days.
Wow.
True story. And finish. I was just I love deadlines essentially, and this show has given me a deadline, and I was just getting carried away but loving it. So, but the really wonderful thing is, which made this birthday the best of my life, is just how amazing it was, the amount of incredibly talented and busy musicians who've kind of got on board with this, like my vibe, or would, for whatever reason, just agreed to give up their time and record on this track and many others. So I've done most of the arrangement. All I'm missing now is the baritone sax and a viola. But otherwise, everything else is there in just 24 hours. So that's 13, including me, 13 musicians, which is insane. I just want to give a big shout out to everyone who's worked really quickly in the past 24 hours. So, on guitars, we have Mr. Matt Isaac. On the bass, Mr. Dan Giles. On drums, Steve Gilbertson. Violins, Corey Wickens. On the cello, Will Robertson. Trumpets, Alex Maynard. Trombone, Tom Donnett. Flutes, Lindsay Bryden. And sax, Daniel Zondener. So, the great thing was that a lot of these people could do 2 tracks at once as well, like 2 trumpets, 2 violins, so I didn't actually have to approach that many people. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to post all of the Instagram pages. They're free, open for business, guys. If you want to produce your music, now is the time. There's never going to be enough free time to do everything that can be achieved now. So get on these guys. And then we also have the very special singer who's going to be singing this track, who has become a great friend of mine during this time. When me and Omri saw that the corona was becoming a real thing and we're going to go into lockdown, essentially Portia moved in with us for a few days to kind of try and get as much creativity flowing before we're all just in our own separate worlds. And we did, that's where this arrangement came from, and we did this. So I was very, very happy that she agreed to do this because I love her dearly and she's incredibly talented and a singer-songwriter in her own right. You should check out her album. And this is essentially the first time she's going to be singing on top of this insane backing tracks. So, backing track.
And
Good
just
luck.
to say before we cut to Portia, because we're going to let her close the evening, and you won't have to hear from us again. If you do feel able, if you're watching this live, if you're watching this afterwards, to donate a ticket price to us, you can do so at the link that's been hovering at the bottom all night, alpmusicals.com/donate. Since this is kind of like an explanatory stream where we're talking about and figuring out lots of stuff, I'm noticing something which I'm calling donation fatigue, which is basically each time people are logging onto a new stream that we're doing, they're donating less each time because they think that they already watched last time and they're already paid. And I just want to put a shout out for those who can afford to pay ticket price. If you're watching this and have enjoyed it, please do pay a ticket price, so that we don't have to put this behind a paywall and future things behind a paywall. If you paid for a concert last week, that isn't the same as paying for this one. It would be the same as asking your takeaway firm to give you new Uber Eats this week, having already got it last week.
Great analogy.
So I just want to put that out there. I don't want it to sound school-like or punishing. I just want to say that I think it's something we're all going to have to deal with as content creators, this idea of donation fatigue, this idea of people thinking digital content isn't worthwhile. And I would ask you, again, if it's not going to change your quality of life, if it's something you can afford to pay back for the work that goes into these events and other events that you see online. If you see the donate button, it means that someone's asking you to pay for a ticket. And if you don't let donation fatigue happen. It's real, and everyone I'm talking to who's creating content and doing concerts is noticing them tailing off massively. And maybe that's because people are running out of money, which I have great empathy for because I'm running out of money. But just to say, if you're watching a concert, try and pay ticket price, whether it's behind a paywall or not. Okay.
Amen.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for Noam. Thanks, Noam. Happy birthdays.
Thanks, Alan. Thank you. Best birthday ever.
And thank you to all the amazing singers. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to all of the amazing musicians. We'll publish links to all of them after, when we're not trying to manically sound check everybody and everything. And yeah, you can subscribe to Noam on YouTube, on Instagram, Big Noise. We'll post the links, ALP Musicals. You can subscribe to both of our YouTube pages, and you'll get more delicious new musical theatre content that is a bit off kilter, a bit on an angle, and doesn't sound like you expect. Anything else to say, Noam?
No, honestly, Adam, thank you for giving me this platform. And I obviously am not as tech savvy as you, so it's really great to have this collaboration. And for all the great stuff we're going to do in the future. Yeah. So thank you so much for producing this, and I hope we do many more.
Thanks, Noam. It's Frontierland, so it's always going to be a little bit frontiery, but I'm proud to be in the frontier with you all. So thanks for tuning in. And it gives me great pleasure. Why don't you introduce Portia to close us off? Thanks, Noam.
Yes, my lovely friends, Portia Emare, take it away.
A very happy birthday, Noam. The sun comes up, I think about you. The coffee cup, I think about you. I want you so, it's like I'm losing my mind. The morning ends, I think about you. I talk to friends and think about you. And do they know it's like I'm losing my mind? All afternoon doing every little chore. The thought of you stays bright. Sometimes I stand in the middle of the floor, not going left, not going right. I dim the lights and think about you. Spend sleepless nights to think about you. You said you loved me, or were you just being kind? Or am I losing my mind? I want you so, it's like I'm losing my mind. And do they know it's like I'm losing my mind? All afternoon doing every little chore. The thought of you stays bright. Sometimes I stand in the middle of the floor, not going left, not going right. I dim the lights to think about you. I spent sleepless nights to think